few days old, but nevertheless. Billy Piper's Doctor Who return, is reportedly paving the way for another Tennant comeback. Please, Tennant, please. I mean, he got, better numbers than Shooty did, for the specials, but then people saw it and were like, oh my God. Plus, I guarantee you that little special segment they did about Davros and preaching about people in wheelchairs being depicted as villains, which just came out of Russell T Davies' ass, that pretty much told you all you needed to know about his new take on Doctor Who. And then, of course, the specials confirmed it, and it's been downhill ever since. So David Tennant alone, that's not going to cut it. But reuniting him with Billy Piper and adding to all the theories about what does it mean for the Doctor to turn into his ex-girlfriend after having been a woman himself and 2 gay men, because Tennant's new Doctor was gay as well, you understand. And then he became a black gay man. And then he turns into his ex-girlfriend. Yeah. So could David Tennant be coming back to Doctor Who again? A new rumor suggests the fan favorite Time Lord will reunite with Billy Piper for one last trip in the TARDIS. According to The Sun, a tabloid, Tennant would appear in a special one-off episode, because it's probably all they can afford to do, to mark the 20th anniversary of Doctor Who's revival. Piper's surprise appearance at the end of Series 15 is reportedly teeing up the return. Here's what the Sun's insider had to say. There is talk about a possible one-off project to celebrate the 20th anniversary. David and Billy were a hugely popular partnership, and he brought in a golden age of Doctor Who. With the anniversary of the reboot this year, there have been some ideas floated about, quite a few floaters, with the thought of maybe bringing David and Billy back together for one last hurrah. The report continues, stating that the 14th Doctor, who was last seen enjoying a quiet life in Donna Noble's garden, could be the incarnation that teams up with Billy Piper in her as yet unconfirmed role. It could be a way to wrap up the Doctor's bi-generation arc. Yeah. Finally set the stage for the next true Doctor. Well, they probably won't get to that. Here, the regeneration, whatever, like the two of them merge into one, because they love each other so much, and form a new Doctor. You probably won't see it because they can't really continue the series. So who's going to take that scene? Nobody. It would probably just, they start glowing into one person. Maybe it pans down and you don't see the face of who it is. Something, I don't know. There's no official word from the BBC, but if true, this would mark Tennant's 3rd major return to the show since his original run ended in 2010. In the meantime, fans eager to see Tennant and Piper back together right now can catch them in the special hour-long edition of Doctor Who Unleashed, which is available on BBC iPlayer. The episode celebrates 20 years since the 2005 revival and features appearances from a host of Doctor Who stars, past and present. It will also air later today on BBC One. Well, yeah, whatever. All right. So it is a move that has credibility to it that they would attempt this if they could, if there's funding. And they probably could cobble enough something together for a special. But the thing of it is, it's ultimately another regeneration story. And then you introduce your new Doctor. But how do you cast an actor in this role when you can't even guarantee there's a series for them to sign up for? Yeah, that's a problem. The narratively speaking and all this business, because, initially when it happened, there was a lot of people, hey, maybe this means that. Maybe it means this. So you had Rose. She absorbed the time vortex into her. The Doctor had to suck it out of her, resulting in him regenerating into David Tennant's version of the Doctor. and all that. So that was a powerful force in which Rose was able to alter time. She wiped out the Daleks, and she did it across time and space and stuff like that. So it's very powerful. Later on, now, that was Russell T Davies' run. Later on, when you get to the 50th special with the Moment and the War Doctor unleashing that, and the Moment takes on the guise of Rose in that, with Billie Piper playing, of course. And but of course, the War Doctor had never met Rose, and so later on does meet her, and so it seems, and that's the thing of people and fandom thinking it through, whereas the show increasingly over its years rarely did. I think they knowingly tease some things, but this sort of thing, and it's just like, let's throw Billy in here in a last minute Hail Mary pass in the hopes that this will garner interest in a complete and colossal failure of a show of this ridiculous take on Doctor Who that they've done with just lectures all over the place and very little story. Basically a show that refused to respect even itself, let alone the lore and the audience and all that, or even their actors. Don't even really blame Ncuti Gatwa for this. I know people don't like him, but he didn't write this crap. So nevertheless, that's the situation they're in. So you throw Billy in there. So, the Doctor turned into his ex-girlfriend, a copy of her. He looks like her, something of that nature. But with both the Moment and the time vortex and whatnot, is there a little more to this, and that this isn't the Doctor per se, and it could be some element to, I guess, orchestrate and connect the entire era of New Who, should they want to have done that, and put something like that together, and off you go. And then have to come up with some sort of villain that gets in the way of this, and these two are back together, solving that, and ultimately they come together and form one Doctor again. And then, hey, this time we got the message. We'll just make Doctor Who adventures going forward. Not anytime soon, I wouldn't think. But theoretically, yeah, I suppose they could do something of that nature for this. It's all very stupid, really. But yeah, that was a weird choice on Davies' part, that he did this bi-generation just because he wanted the word bi-generation out there. Everybody's bisexual now. But nevertheless, the ability where the Doctor doesn't just regenerate and reform himself, he splits into two people. You would think the previous copy would then die from the injuries that caused it in the first place, but no, he gets repaired and everything. So David Tennant's new Doctor, the 14th Doctor, basically went into retirement and went to live with Donna in his cloned TARDIS. I guess he has the original TARDIS. Ncuti cloned it with magic and has his own. And they'll probably have to merge those two as well. And then so there he is all this time, and all these catastrophic things. What happened? The universe was killed at one point, and they had to bring it back and all that. This Doctor just sits on the couch watching TV, I guess. I don't know. Does nothing. But now, he'll be back because, Rose. But it's me. Oh. So then it goes to show that the Doctor only really ever loved himself. I don't know. But there you have it. What a weird set of circumstances. And I guess they'll address that. But it was a strange thing of doing it like that. And everyone said, they're going to do something. This is the emergency glass situation where Tennant comes back for a brief scene, regenerates into someone else, and then that becomes your ongoing Doctor or something like that. To me, it was a bit insulting of casting Ncuti there, so he can't, because like I said, he never really played the Doctor. He plays this clone of the Doctor. Unlike all the other actors, even Jodie, she didn't split off from Capaldi. Capaldi regenerated into her, And that's essentially all they should have done. I mean, I'm like, this is stupid, you know? But they didn't. And they do this. And now he's going to make out with himself as his other self looks like his ex-girlfriend, and they will merge. And oh boy. Yeah, I don't know. But this is the mess that Davies made for no damn good reason. Because even after all that, in a way, he's insulting Shudigawa. Wouldn't let him be the actual doctor. You know? I just think it's all very stupid. So there you go. Can they cobble together a special? Perhaps. They still got to put out because Disney already paid for the spinoff movie, the Land and Sea War thing. So they got that coming along. But beyond that, no. However, there are plans afoot for another Doctor Who series. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm not familiar of CBBS, but apparently the deal is to do an animated series. BBC reveals plans for animated Doctor Who CBBS spinoff in 2027. So there you go. So here's the press release. The BBC is set to expand the Whoniverse as it launches plans for a brand new preschool animation series, which will see the Doctor's adventures come to CBBS for the first time ever. The BBC is looking for a passionate production company to create and produce the series, because we can't, which will run independently from the main show that will see the Doctor traveling through time and space for the preschool audience, solving mysteries and problems alongside their companions and other friends. And of course, they may come up against one or two challenges on their way. Speaking about the plans, Patricia Hidalgo, Director of Children's and Education, said everyone is welcome at CBBS. I doubt everyone, including the Doctor. The much-loved franchise entertains millions around the world, not so much anymore. So it is only right that our younger audience get to experience the wonder and the magic of the Doctor in a brand new format. This is an extremely exciting opportunity, and we are looking forward to welcoming companies to pitch for this new project as we continue our commitment and investment in the UK's animation industry. After seeing what the Whoniverse has become, I'm a little disturbed for it to be shown to preschoolers, but it's separate from it, so I guess you can consider this an alternate universe of the Whoniverse of the Doctor, which is what I've been thinking about, since Jodie and everything. But yeah, I suppose they could find some studio to do a crappy show. Yeah. So maybe that'll happen. But I think Doctor Who is done. And it did it to itself, It's all unfortunate, but there's really nothing anyone can do about it now.